everyone, for reals. Welcome back. We are nearing the end of reading Shelly. Today we are reading chapter 17, and then we only have 3 more chapters after that. Wild. Without further ado, let's get to it. Chapter 17, Paper. That night seemed more restless than any other night Shelly had failed to fall asleep. Multiple thoughts jousted in her brain, and it didn't matter what side they fought for. Shelly's brain was the foundation for the internal fight, and it would get scratched up by both sides, whether they were bad or good. If she could, she'd end the battles and slumber away, but her subconscious kept waving the flag to signal new jousters to enter. What will Mom say in the morning when she finds out we're leaving? Maybe we should leave and text her about it later. Maybe we shouldn't leave at all. Maybe it was one bad night and we should try to work it out. Was it really that bad? Am I overreacting? It hurt, but maybe I wasn't listening, or maybe I was causing the problem. Maybe I should see how she's doing. The likelihood that her mother had not fallen asleep by midnight was slim. A little nudge in Shelly made her think that, regardless of the odds, her mother had not gone to bed. She decided to check. The carpet under Shelly's feet cushioned her steps, and Savannah snored on. As soon as she turned the doorknob, she would tread onto the wood, and her mother did not sleep lightly. This late at night, the risk of stepping onto creaking wood felt like the risk of setting off a bomb. If she's not awake and I wake her up, I'm screwed, she thought. Perhaps she could pretend that she hadn't thought of that, and if her mother did wake up, she could take the chance to apologize. Shelly walked out into the hallway and balanced on her tiptoes, praying that she did not discover a squeaking floorboard. Underneath her mother's door, she saw light. She could hear familiar voices. As she stood in front of the doorway, she thought of the bad and the good that could happen if she opened the door. She memorized how she'd act toward her mother in the good situation. Respectful, cognizant, loving. Moving her hands through the air, she mentally practiced the kind phrases to speak and how to avoid blaming her mom or acting defensively. I'm sorry this has been hard for you. You're important to me. We could have approached it in a different way, and I hope we can all move forward from this together. I want to have a relationship with you. I love you. The nerves in her throat tensed. She scratched behind her head as her other hand gripped the curved silver doorknob. Inch by inch, she moved her mother's bedroom door open. There Deborah sat, propped up against her headboard. As she adjusted her glasses, the television held her attention. Shelly followed her gaze and saw her mom's favorite television show playing. Hey, Mom, how's it going? Deborah's face moved just enough to let the words out. Not great, not that you would care. Right, it makes sense why you would feel that way, but I do care. Shelly wished her mom would look at her. I'm sorry if I hurt you. I know that conversation didn't go very well. No, it didn't. Pursing her lips, wrinkles formed around the edges of Deborah's mouth. But I should have known better. Your sister always creates conflict. I wanted to talk to you, but I can't do that with your sister around. She's not reasonable. Right. I can understand why she was upset. She wanted to make sure I was okay. Deborah tossed her hands into the air. I know, but I wasn't even doing anything to hurt you. And if I was, and I didn't realize it, then I'm sorry. But that's between me and you, and she shouldn't have gotten in the middle of it. Okay, well, I wanted to say sorry. I think Savannah might be sorry too. I know she's pretty hurt. Her mom finally looked at her. Shelly knew that face. Shelly hated that face. The one that took the look of a mother and made it into a terrible tyrant, scowling with anger and grappling for authority. She hated the face, and then the face surrendered. The scowl became a defeated frown, and the tears began to wash the anger out from her mother's eyes. I know I shouldn't have said some of what I said, but your sister is so hard to deal with. I don't know what to do sometimes. Forcing her hand away from her scalp, Shelly played with her hair instead, weaving and unweaving it through her fingers. Makes sense. I hope that we can figure things out sometime. Maybe this was all too sudden. As her mother wiped off the tears, the lingering frustration reappeared in the coloring of her mother's face. Maybe it was. For a moment, no one said anything. Savannah and I might leave sooner than we planned. We feel hurt, and we don't know if it's a good idea for us to stay here at the moment. We're sorry. I swear we wanted to have a good time. Huh. Fine. Can't say I'm not disappointed. When are you leaving? 3 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. What? Deborah said. Tomorrow afternoon? It didn't seem that her mother wanted a response. You just got here. We haven't even done anything yet. We haven't even had a chance to talk it out. How can I understand what's bothering you if you don't talk to me? We tried to talk earlier tonight, but that's why I'm here now. We can talk now. But you already booked the flight? Yes. So you made the decision without trying to work this out first. I don't get it. I don't understand why you're leaving. Like I said, we don't feel it's good for us to be here. It hurts, like Savannah said. It's too much pain. So it's painful? I don't get it. 1 second we're all having fun together, doing dinner and planning all these fun activities to do together, and the next you want to leave. I don't get it. Shelly spoke each word with caution. We think it's better for us not to be here at the moment. You know what? I don't need to deal with this. I need to go to sleep. You and your sister have already worn me thin from earlier, and I don't need to be treated this way anymore tonight. I'm going to sleep. Mom, I'm really sorry. You know, your sorries don't mean anything to me right now. You booking the flight was basically giving me the finger. You don't want to be here? Fine. Just leave me alone. I need to sleep. Without responding, Shelly slipped out of her mother's bedroom and fulfilled her request. She was alone. The actions that were supposed to make the relationship better made it worse. Even with all her mental preparation, Shelly had made her mom more upset. Her mom seemed to dislike her even more now. In her bed, Shelly expected to wait out the remaining hours until the sun rose. However, with the thoughts spoken and out of her head, she fell into a steady, dreamless sleep. Beep, beep, beep. A snarling came from Savannah's corner and the blaring noise disappeared. Shelly winced. The blankets had wrapped her into a warm cocoon, and it took punches and kicks in all directions to untangle herself. Lying on her stomach, she dropped her head back onto the pillow. Early morning strenuous effort. Not her favorite. Raising her head, Shelly looked under her nail beds. They were filled with white tinted red. She had scratched her scalp throughout the night. Seeing the evidence brought her to a consciousness of how sore the back of her head felt. Scabs would form before the pain disappeared and the healing began. Her phone had fully charged and had apparently been on vibrate mode. Messages filled her screen. All from John. 1. Hey, call me when you get the chance. Be safe. 2. Are you guys still at the clubs? 3. Thinking of you. About to go to bed soon. Love you. Have a good night. 4. Shelly, I was cleaning and found a list under all your sketches in the bin. I need to talk to you. This is serious. 5. Are you okay? 6. I'm starting to get worried. 7. I'm assuming you're asleep. Call me in the morning ASAP. We need to talk. It was like her head was a snow globe, and life would not stop shaking her brain around. The snow needed to settle. If the list was what she thought, she needed to tell John the full truth about living with her mother. No more pretending. She couldn't be like Virginia. She'd just have to learn how to be Shelly. 4 a.m. did not suit John. If he chose to go to the gym, maybe he could wake up at 6 a.m., even 5:30 a.m., but 4 o'clock challenged him. The puffiness made his eyes small like a naked mole rat's, and his breath went in and out at the rate a tortoise's would. The night before, he had set his alarm for 6, but his body couldn't wait until then. Even with the 2-hour time difference, he doubted that Shelly was awake or would be awake for several hours, especially if Savannah had tugged her onto the dance floor. Whatever happened last night, it had kept Shelly from her phone. John still had no response to his calls or texts. As he sat in bed, he thought about the list. The scribblings were jagged and confused, but they described events that filled John with a pure hatred for Shelly's mother. Part of him tried to reason that hate might be too strong, but until he could clarify everything, he had a hard time talking himself down. He didn't care if it happened 5 times a year, 8 times a year, or every week. In fact, once a year would be enough to infuriate him. Soft, unsure Shelly didn't deserve what he read. Pushed me in my bedroom. I tripped backward into the window, pulled the curtains, and the curtain rod fell down onto me. She said I had exaggerated, that she hadn't pushed me that hard. In a fight, Mom was never around. I said, fine, lose your job. I don't care. Sounded snotty. She slapped me on the face in the car. Slapped me on the face in the car lots of different times. I said something rude. She hit me in the back. Hard. Later she said sorry. Said it was the first time she wanted to hurt me. The other times were just reactions, she said. On her bed. We were fighting and she chased me. I went to my room, backed onto the bed. I covered my face with my forearms while she pounded her fists down and punched. I don't know how many times. 8? Came back from college for the first time and she put me in a headlock so she could get my phone from me. There were more abusive incidents, but he didn't want those occupying his thoughts anymore, and luckily, a distraction had lit up his phone. Sorry, John, my phone died. I know you're sleeping, but Sav and I decided to leave early. We're coming back this afternoon. Call me when you can. Heart. After hitting Shelly's speed dial, the ringing sounded. John waited. Hello? Shelly said, her voice raspy. Shelly, hey, are you all right? I'm not great. It's been rough. I didn't think it would be so bad, but... But what? Mom hasn't been on the friendliest of terms with us. Ugh, I knew this would happen. John wanted to say more, but he stopped. Feeling his temperature rise made him uneasy because he knew anger had compelled it to do so. He couldn't allow himself to speak until he knew he could control what he would say. Shelly stayed silent at first as well. Then, softly, she said, I'm sorry. Sorry. John shook his head in submission. She shouldn't feel sorry. Shelly, no, I'm sorry. I don't want you to feel bad for trying to see your mom. It's not your fault that she's crazy. Hey. Okay, not crazy, but I saw the list, Shelly. All that she did. I had no idea that stuff happened to you. How come I didn't know? I know. Please don't be mad at me for not saying anything. Sniffling and whimpering sounded on the other end. Hey, I'm not mad. You don't have to cry or feel sorry about keeping this from me. Honestly, I shouldn't have gone through your stuff. I shouldn't have invaded your privacy. I thought it was only sketches, but I can't believe this happened to you. It makes me so... I'm sorry. I need a second. He breathed in and out, loosening his tight clutch around his phone. I'm sorry I didn't say anything, Shelly said. If it helps, my mom hasn't hit me in years. She's apologized for everything. That's good, but this stuff is serious. Look, I also probably shouldn't have said your mom is crazy, but she's definitely not safe. I've been around her and I've heard how she talks to you. She may not physically abuse you anymore, but she hasn't changed in her emotional abuse. Yeah, maybe. Definitely. His throat tightened. I'm sorry, Shelly. I've been feeling so frustrated, so mad, but I know you're hurting. A tear splashed under his eye. I'll try to calm down. Are you okay? I'll be fine, hopefully. Savannah called a friend to take us to the airport. We just need to survive until he picks us up this afternoon. With a big exhale, it became clear to John that he hadn't been breathing well for days. Knowing Shelly would come home to safety had restored his ability to relax. I think that's a good idea. When does your flight get in? We have a layover in Chicago, so we won't be there until late. I'll forward the flight information to you. Is Savannah staying overnight at our place then? She says she'll either leave tomorrow morning or the day after, depending on how tired she feels. This trip was short, very short, but draining. No problem. I'll make sure to set up the air mattress. Thanks, honey. I miss you. I miss you too. Let me know when you get to the airport. Be safe. I will, and I'll explain more when I get home, and we can talk about things. All the things. John laughed in an almost cheery way. All the things. Sounds like a plan. They said I love you and goodbye, and John wrapped the yellow bedsheet around him as he sunk further into the mattress. Shelly would come home soon. Shelly would be with him, away from her mom. Shelly would be safe. End of chapter! I have a special surprise. The next video, I'm going to be reading 2 chapters, and that means we are 2 videos away from the end. So next video, 2 chapters, and then the video after that will be the last chapter, and then we'll have read all of Shirley Shelley. If you liked this video, like this video, subscribe if you want to see the ending. If you're not already subscribed, there's a link below if you want to buy the book, follow along. I assume if you're following along, you already have it by now, but you know, the more info, the more you know. And then we'll get back to blog posts. Until then, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you later. Bye!